Chapter 5. You ready, Rita? Rita looked up into Sam's smiling eyes. Sam was the one good thing about these fishing trips. He may not be as intriguing and enjoyable a companion as Malachi had been, but he was friendly and a safe place. His eyes were the gray of a stormy ocean sky shining with a firm and steady gaze. His smile, situated between tufts of rough dark brown stubble, was like the beam of a lighthouse. It was a beacon to Rita on those long, painful nights when she would sit out at sea with matted hair and the taste of salt on her lips. Sam would sit quietly beside her and listen to her troubles, and he was one of the only people who understood her. Rita could tell by the sad expression he always wore on his weathered brow that he understood pain and despair, and like her, he was willing to own it. Most of the folks from the lower region tried to hide it. Ready as I will ever be. Rita accepted Sam's hand as he hoisted her onto the small fishing boat. Although, it is not as if I have anything better to do. My life is terrible, Sam. I do believe I have now reached despair in its truest form. Come on. Things can't really be that bad, can they? Sam shook his head sympathetically as he tied his long brown hair back with a piece of old damp rope. Beth is trying to keep me out of the bars again. Oh, my dear Rita, Sam laughed. Never been one to like what's good for ya, are you? Well, no worries. I have always got your back. He winked as he pulled an old bottle of whiskey out from one of his large crates used for storing nets and other fishing supplies. You can sip on this tonight, but be careful you don't let the boys see it. They would have a fit. I do declare you are the absolute best. Rita excitedly took the bottle, and the two of them laughed together. It felt good to laugh again. When the rest of their party came, Rita went to a forgotten corner at the far back. It was a small ship and offered little in the way of hiding places, but most of the men avoided her anyway. No one wanted to waste much time trying to talk to a sad, sickly-looking young woman with bloodshot eyes and trust issues. Although there were times it stung a bit, for the most part, she did not mind. She would rather keep to herself anyway. That way, she would not have to try to answer any questions she did not fully understand herself. People were best held at arm's length. Not even Sam or Malachi were completely in her trust. Beth was the closest she had to family, and yet Rita still avoided her and pushed her away at times. Letting people in was allowing yourself to get hurt. The more you let them in, the more they could hurt you. Just look at what Malachi had done to her. It's all your fault, Malachi. She raised the bottle in the air as if to toast him, and then took a long gulp of alcohol, closing her eyes to enjoy the sting as it slid down her throat. I hope I drink myself to death, so I can come to wherever you are and punch you. I can punch just as hard as any man, and you best believe it. You all right? Rita glanced up quickly and saw one of the other crewmates look at her quizzically. Yeah, why wouldn't I be? She looked at him expectantly and found he was looking at the bottle in her hand. Want some? Sure. He smiled then, revealing several missing teeth. Rita handed him the bottle and watched him take a small sip. His eyes met hers from over the side of the drink. You are friends with that man who was killed a small while back. The man wiped his face with the back of his hand and returned the whiskey to her. Maybe. Rita accepted the bottle and narrowed her eyes. What's it to you? Nothing. The man put his hands up defensively. It has nothing to do with me. I was just curious how you were doing. Was it hard for you? Well, let's see. Rita leaned against the rail, feigning a thoughtful expression. Say you meet someone who you got along with well and trusted deeply. Months go by, and you learn to really appreciate their presence in your life and couldn't imagine your life without them. Oh, but wait. It was all a lie, and you cannot tell them how angry you are because they're dead. Not only have they betrayed you, but abandoned you too. Rita paused to let it sink in before finishing. I don't know. Do you think that would be painful? I'm sorry. The man shifted nervously. I need to go now. Take care, and thanks for the drink. Rita silently scolded herself for being so rude to a stranger, although her heart was not in it. All she felt anymore these days was apprehension or apathy. Wow! Sam materialized from the shadows and leaned on the railing beside her. That was intense. I was perfectly awful now, wasn't I? Yeah, that was pretty bad. Sam glanced sideways at her. Malachi's death really did you in, didn't it? This place. Rita shook her head. It reeks of death. That is just the grief talking. No, Sam. Rita swung around to face him. That is not the grief talking. Every month for the past year, someone has been killed in that diabolical place we call the town square. Last month, 2 lives were taken. It is as if this forsaken soil has a thirst for blood that cannot be satisfied. I am sick of it. I want out of here. The blood taken at the square was necessary, Rita. Sam's eyes sparked in the moonlight. You should never question that again. If I do, what will happen, Sam? Rita snapped. Are you going to report me? No. Sam straightened his posture. No, I wouldn't do that, Rita. Are you sure? Rita buried her face in her hands. Oh, you are right. It is the grief talking. I'm so sorry. It's all right. Sam laid a hand on her shoulder. I just worry about you. I will always have your back no matter what, but there are others who would not be so sympathetic. I know. Thanks, Sam. The two stood there silently beside each other for a long time, watching the waves lap against the side of the boat. The silence spoke louder than words ever could have, a silent testimony to the pain of the last 3 years they had spent coming out into this water together. A quiet seal to the strong bond that shared struggles can form. A comfortable realization that whatever the future held, they would not be completely alone. You still have that bottle I gave you? Rita smiled. Half full. Good. Sam reached out his hand. I think we both need it right now. We have not caught anything yet, have we? Sam closed his eyes as the fiery liquid slipped down his throat and then handed it back to her. No, but at least we have a lovely sunrise to look forward to. I don't want to see it. Rita turned and slumped down with her back against the wooden planks. Why not? Sam joined her. The sunset makes the sea look too much like blood. I'm so tired of all the blood, Sam. Rita's lips quivered. I know. Sam pulled her into a hug. I know. And so the sunrise found them there, huddled in each other's arms, eyes closed to block out its beautifully sinister red glow. The sun hung there, just above the mountains, as if daring them to look, teasing them with its colorful backsplash. Rita's eyes shut tighter and her brow wrinkled into a pained expression as a lone tear slid down her cheek. As it reflected the world opposite the distraught young woman, it caught the sun's sly grin, and for a moment it shone with a deep scarlet light before dripping down the bridge of her nose and disappearing.